Welcome everyone to day one of the 3-6 basic certification training. Let's wait for a few more minutes until everyone's here. And yeah, if you're not able to hear me properly, just post it on the chat. Welcome everyone. Let's wait for another few more minutes until everyone's here and we'll begin with the session. Welcome everyone to day one of the basic 3CX certification training. Let's begin with our today's session. Uh, a bit about myself. My name is Manoj, and I'm going to be a trainer today. And I'm originally from India, and I'm in Australia since 2019. So, a bit of background about my education. I did my bachelor's in electronics and communication, and I did my master's in telecommunication and networking. And I'm currently working as the senior voice engineer and UC support lead with Leader, and I'm working with Leader for more than 3 years. So I have a quite years of experience with 3CX and SIP. So 3CX basic certification training. So this gives you all the basic information that you need to be able to set up and configure your own PBX or for your customers PBX. The main goal of this training or the certificate is to provide you with a system that's easy to use, manage, and set up. You don't need to be an advanced IT professional, so just simply someone who wants to take advantage of a UC system and offer phone system solutions for your clients. So this will give you more knowledge about it. And so as a 3.6 certified professional, what are all the partner benefits you get? So by investing your time into the 3.6 certification, partner can increase sales by reducing the resource and time needed for deployments. So throughout the session, you would know like how easy it is to like deploy a system and configure it. And it also improve customer satisfaction by being able to provide support effectively for a range of issues. And you'll also learn how to deploy and maintain large and complex installations. And also, as a certified 3CX partner, it also includes free 3CX support, and silver partners plus get listed on the 3CX website, and certification achievements displayed on your 3CX partner listings. Before getting started, so this is going to be a technical training. Feel free to ask questions after every chapter and not during the presentation. Even if you have any questions during the presentation, feel free to post it on the questions tab and I'll answer it through. And most of the questions will be answered during the end of the session. But if it is something that can go through in between, I will go through it immediately. And if you have any questions not related to current issues or not related to the topic that we are dealing with today, please contact help@breezeconnect.com.au for any live issues. And the other main thing I would say about is the 3CX message board for ideas and feature requests. If you are requiring any new features that you want 3CX to add to a 3CX, to the 3CX, feel free to post it on the 3.6 message board, because rather than me getting to 3.6 telling them, so it'll be much more easier if there are more voices or more people requesting for the same feature. So let's get started with our today's session. So the first module, we are going to see about 3.6 free or SMB and also the 3.6 hosted. So what is 3.6 free or SMB? So basically the 3.6 free is native cloud instance, which is a shared instance. Basically 3.6 has its own multi-tenancy, which is a big system, and then they share the departments with us, so which is basically free of cost, and it's managed by 3CX. And free hosting and PBX is free, and it's available globally. And why 3.6 free or SMB? Because it's easy to set up, quick to set up, and it's feature rich and easy licensing, and it's up to actually it's up to 20 users. I think there is an error, but I'll update that, but it's up to 20 users. And the other advantages I would say about the 3.6 free is, let's say you want to demo basic call functions or qualities or basic 3.6 functionality to a client. You don't need to have like a license purchase and have it for demo. So if it is something basic that you need to, you can just spin off a free instance and then demo it to your clients. After end of this module, we'll see how to install a 3.6 free version. And the features of the 3.6 free version is you can have SIP trunks. You can have up to 10 system extensions like ring groups, digital receptionist, call queues, and things like. Actually, there are no call queues for the free version, so up to 10 ring groups and digital receptionist. You can have live chat, WhatsApp integration, video conferencing, and if your voice provider support SMS, you can also do SMS through the 3.6 free version. And things you need to remember about 3.6 free or SMB is the first user that you created will be the owner of that instance, and the extension length of the users will be preset to 5 digits, which you cannot change. And the range that you are getting for the 3.6 free, that's also fixed. We cannot get a different range because that's automatically assigned by 3.6. For example, if you create a new instance and if the range starts from 13500 to 13509. So that's basically what you get. You cannot get a different range of extension from 3.6. And stick to 3.6 preferred SIP trunk providers. That will help you reduce or will not make you run into a lots of issues. There are lots of people use third-party SIP trunks and unsupported SIP trunks and run into many issues with templates and stuff. So it's always a better practice to use 3.6 preferred SIP trunk providers. Root access is not provided and it's not needed for the 3.6 free version as it is managed by 3.6 directly. So let's create demo system. Just give me one moment. Let me share my screen. Cool. I hope you can see my screen, guys. So this is the partner dashboard, and this is how the partner dashboard looks like. And if you're already a partner, you would already be familiar with this dashboard. So it says the company name, the partner ID, certification level, and annual revenue that you're doing, and the total number of instance that you have. So instance up to date, any older versions that you've got, and revenue required to change to the next partner level and the partner benefits. For example, if you're in a bronze, you get 15% margin, and hosting you get 10% margin or discount. And silver, it's 20 and 15, and gold, it's 25 and 15, and it goes on. So with the platinum and stuff. And for support, you get if you're bronze level, so you get a starter pack, and silver, it's 10 tickets per annum, and gold, it's you get the basic pack. And so listing is available in all three, and leads is not available in bronze and things like that. And you can see who's your distributor and who's the contact person for your 3.6 licensing and things like that. And so the other options that you can available is personal information, company information, leads, orders, certification, downloads, and things like that. And clicking on the systems, you would be able to see all the systems that sorry guys, let me stop sharing. I think I just shared the app. That's why it didn't show the, let me share the whole window. So cool. I hope you can see my screen now, guys. Yeah, sorry for that. Let me start from the beginning. So this is how the partner dashboard looks like. So you get your partner details, certification level, annual revenue done, and the remaining revenue required to switch to the next partner level, total instance up to instance up to date, and older versions if there are any, and you can see the partner levels and benefits. So bronze, silver, and gold. So if you're a bronze partner, you get 15% margin for any licenses and 10% for hosting. Silver is 20, 15, and gold is 25, 15, and then platinum is I think 30 and 20. And support packs available, listings available, and minimum annual sales required. So it's $1,000 for bronze and 4,000 for silver and 20K for gold. And you can also have see the referral link. That's pretty much you will have your own link and your distributor details for and the contact details for 3.6 licensing and stuff like that. And the other options yeah, available from the partner dashboard is you can update your details, company information, company users. Let's say you're the MD and then you want to add further users like technical leads or technical persons to it. You can do it directly. Orders, forums, support, and etc. And systems will show you all the systems that's available. And to spin off a new 3.6 free version or a 3.6 SMB version, you just click on Add Trial. And let's fill in the details. I'll put that as basic test one, company name, leader. Let me, yeah, I'm putting the breeze number. Needs to be on the plus format. Email already in use. Let me use that. Country, Australia. Language, English. State, I'm picking as SA. I'm based in Adelaide. In time zone, Adelaide. And yes, a customer has agreed to be registered with 3.6, and I'm clicking next. Takes you to the installation wizard. So you can see there are different options available: self-hosted, on-premise, 3.6 hosted, and the 3.6 free, which is less than 10 users. So we'll be looking into the self-hosted and on-premise ones in depth during the advanced certification, but the basic certification, it covers the hosted and the free version. So let's start creating a free version for now. So I'm selecting less than 10 users, which is a free hosted by 3CX. I'm clicking next, and it will automatically install your 3.6. No much information required. So you can see I just clicked installation start now, and you can see how quick or how fast the installation is done. And you can spin off a customer phone system for a customer or a demo system for a customer, like how quick you can do it. That's it. The installation is done. So you now have a phone system. So let me copy that, posting on the browser, and let me copy the username and the password. So even if you accidentally close this screen, so the login details will be sent to the particular email that you've given during the installation. It will also have the password, and you can see the extension number is set to 5 digits, which is 287102709 basically, and extension is 210, so 10 to 19, and so that's basically fixed. You cannot change it or update it in the future, so that's basically something that you have to live with it for the free version. But if it is a dedicated instance, you're doing your own installation, you can pick the number of digits and also the extension numbering range directly. So clicking on login, and maybe I'll save for now and close, and that's it. So you have a phone system installed with less than 2 minutes, I'd say. And you can see the basic functions of this is basically the web client, and logged in as the test basic user. And it has the basic function like looking at the teams, chat functionality, conference calls, call logs, panel, which is the wallboard, contacts, voicemails, and basic settings. And since if you remember correct, I mentioned the first user that is getting created will be the owner of the department. That's why this is the first user, and that's why I'm getting the admin button. You can see the other options available: dashboard, users, voice and chat, outbound rules, office hours, call handling, reports, and event logs. So from the dashboard, it just gives you the basic information like this is the update 6, and that's the version and the FQDN, IP address, network ports required, company name, event logs if there are any. Users, you can go to users, add users directly from here. You can put test user 2, save, and you can also swap the role if you don't want it to be a user, you want it to be another owner. You can do it manager, department administrator, receptionist, user. We'll be looking at the different roles and what it can do a bit more in detail during, I think, tomorrow's session. So I think it's one of the basic certification module. And the department is basically the one that you initially create, automatically created, so which is the company name that you entered before installing. And that's also fixed. And you have all the call forwarding features, share, office hours, phone provisioning, BLF, voicemail, views, options, and etc. And voice and chat is basically where you can add a trunk or an SBC or a handset or SMSing. So trunk, so you can add directly. So I'm choosing AU and then I'm selecting Breeze. Breeze is one of the preferred sub-trunk provider. And so you can give it a name, test this trunk, and you can set the default route. You give it a main trunk number, authentication ID, and password, and the registrar is fixed because it has a predefined template. DID numbers you can add, SMS if you want, you can add, and options basically the normal trunk features like limited to the particular trunk or system wide, simultaneous calls, convert inbound caller ID, reformat inbound caller ID. We'll be looking into everything a bit more detail in the upcoming module. So I'm just giving you a basic overview. And outbound rules is basically something. For example, how you want to send the calls out. For example, if the provider is expecting the calls as a 6-1, and so basically something like I need to add a trunk first. Let me breeze and set up a random number. So test 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5 test 2. Yep. So I've added a trunk, and if I go to outbound rules, I can add one. So for example, the customer is dialing a number as 04, but the provider is expecting a number as 61. So you can set up a rule something like anything that starts with 04 and calls with the length of digits 10. It goes through the trunk and it just strips the first digit, which is the 0, and adds a 61 in the front. So basically, it just removes the 0, adds 61, and send it to the provider so the provider can read it properly. And office hours is basically where you have the office hours and stuff, and call handling. You can add ring groups, call queues, digital receptionists. We'll be looking into each and every one of them a bit more detail in the upcoming modules. And reporting is there are AI reporting features available, agent statistics, call logs, queue statistics, and all those. And event logs, for example, we so this basically shows that any warning or errors. So this error is popping up because I tried to register trunk, which is not even in existence. So it's prompting that registration to test to trunk has failed from voice.breeze connect. Voice.breeze connect is saying there is no other trunk with those details and da da da. So that is basically everything for free version. Do you have any questions? Okay, if you don't have any questions, we can continue through. Cool. So next one we are going to see about 3.6 instance hosted with 3.6 directly. So basically, where is hosted by 3.6 of so basically, what is hosted by 3.6? So the best way to deploy a dedicated 3.6 is hosted by 3.6 because you don't have to worry about the hosting or manage the hosting because 3.6 does that for you. It's quick configuration, easy management, fully supported, and cost effective and great value. So when I say cost effective, if you calculate, for example, there are some limitations for 3.6 hosted, which we'll go through when we are doing the demo. But when so if the with that if that limitation means a lot, you can go with the dedicated instance. But if you do the calculation, like let's say you're hosting it with a provider like Lightsail or Google Cloud, and if you calculate it for a whole year and look at the 3.6 hosting charges for the year, you might find it a bit cheaper. So that's what when I say cost effective and also it's great value. And so where is hosted by 3.6 available? So it's available in North America, South America, Europe, Asia, and Australasia. And hosted by 3.6 pricing, so free NFR hosting for 3.6 partners. So if you have an NFR license, you can have free NFR hosting for those for the NFR licenses. And hosting is available only up to 256 simultaneous calls. And the easy way to calculate hosting is, let me bring up the other screen, just a second. Sorry guys, let me open up the screen. Yeah, hope you can see my screen. So basically, if you go to the 3.6 website, 3.6.com, and if you click on pricing, it just takes you to the pricing calculator where you can select either if you want a pro license or an enterprise license. And the licensing size starts from 8 simultaneous calls. The free SMB is 1 to 10 users. It's all included. It's free. And if you want the 8 simultaneous calls, you can see the annual pricing. And if you want to add hosting, so that's basically 620 for the license and 570 for the hosting. So basically 570 dollars for hosting for a year. That's basically less than $50 a month, which is far more cheaper when you compare to other self-hosted hosting platforms. And if you want to see a full price comparison, so if you click on the full price list, it's going to take you 8 simultaneous calls. This is the license fee for Pro, Enterprise, and the hosting fee. And 16, 24, da da da. And you can see hosting is available only up to 256 simultaneous calls. This is where you can find the RRPs. But if you are a partner, you can get the separate pricing, which you need to contact your distributor or you can contact leader for more pricing details. So this is basically the RRP pricing. So with hosted by 3CX, what does 3CX takes care of? So the management of the operating systems, you don't have to worry about any security patches or version upgrades. 3CX does that for you. And and also it 3CX keeps you keeping your 3.6 PBX up to date to the latest non-beta version available. That's the production only. But even if you want to upgrade it to a beta version, so you can do it manually. So that's not going to be an issue. And also 3.6 takes nightly backups. For example, you have a 3.6 and something goes wrong and you accidentally deleted it or you forgot to renew the license and you want the backup immediately, but which you haven't done it. So 3.6 takes nightly backups and hold the backups for 7 days period. So if you are within that time, you can request for 3.6 to send up the backup file. So you can spin off a new instance immediately with the backup rather than um, um, reinstalling it and building everything from scratch. So that is another advantage I would say about the 3.6 hosting. And things to know about hosted by 3.6, migration to a 3.6 hosted is possible and easy. All you need to do is go to a self-hosted instance on the partner page, go to systems. I'll show you how it's done. There is a switch to hosted button. So you just need to do the pre-checks and then click on the button and everything will be done in the backend for you. And it's always good practice to take a backup before making any changes. So you can take, and the backup should be less than 3 gigs and needs to contain a 3.6 FQD. And even if it is yeah, so if you're moving from a self-hosted to a 3.6 hosted, it's pretty much easy. Take a backup just in case, click on the switch to hosted and it's done. Or if you're getting a new license and you want to install it, or if you want to reinstall it, you can just reinstall on the 3CX. And while installing, it will ask for you, do you want to install with the backup? You just give the backup and then it'll install. Or if you want to move from 3.6 hosted to a self-hosted instance, that's pretty much going to be the same. It cannot be done with pressing one single button. You need to take a backup and reinstall with the backup. And configure your phones behind the 3.6 SBC because stun is not possible with the new 3.6 versions. And SSH access is not possible since 3.6 manages this for you. This is what I mentioned, one of the limitation. I know there are some people who still prefers the old ways. They like to do everything from the back end. Like let's say they are hosting the 3.6 on a Linux system, they are far more familiar with the Linux side, and then they go to the backend to pull backups or put custom templates and things like that. If you're one of them, so I would recommend having a self-hosted instance. But all those stuff that's not necessary because you would be able to do most of them directly from the GUI. So if you want SSH access, then go with the dedicated instance. But if it is not, or if you want to make sure everything is easy as possible, you go with the 3.6 hosted. Cool. Let's install a 3.6 hosted instance trial instance, and I'll show you through. Where is the? Yep, got it. Cool. So this one's the free version, and let me go back to the postal.3cx. I think my network is poor. So the same way we added the test instance, we click on add trial. So I'm going to put that as basic cert, and company name, again, I put that as leader, putting Breeze connects number, help 8 hat. Me on the plus format. Country I'm picking as Australia. State South Australia. Language English. Time zone was at the last. Yep, clicking the same. The customers agreed to be registered with 3.6. Next. Cool. So last time we picked the less than 10 users option. Now we will be selecting the 3.6 hosted. and selecting that and clicking next. Hostname, which will basically be the FQDN. For example, the free version, you can see the FQDN is fixed. You cannot give it a FQDN. But with the dedicated instance, you can give your own FQDN for the 3CX. For example, for this one, I'll put that as basic training cert36.com.au. So if you want to have a custom FQDN, you can also do it. But I'm picking the 3.6 FQDN because it makes things easier to configure or demo. So I'm putting that. And so this is something that's super important because this is the number of digits you want the extension number to be. So the 3 is the standard practice, but if your client is more than 1,000 users, because even with this you can have up to 999 users, but if it is more than 1,000 users, I'd say 4. 5 would be overkill, but if the customer prefers to have a 5-digit pattern, you can have it. But 2-digit, it depends on if the customer, let's take a customer, they are around 80 users and they have a potential to grow. I wouldn't put them on the 2-digit, but I would put them on the 3-digit. The reason is you cannot change it once it's selected. You need to manually recreate or take a backup and reinstall, because this option only shows up only during the installation wizard and which cannot be changed later. So yeah, so if you have a customer with 80 users and if you pick a 2-digit pattern and if they cross 99 users, they cannot have an additional user. So you need to create a new instance, select 3 digits and recreate everything from scratch. So for this, for demo purpose, I'm picking 3 and I'm clicking next. And you can look at all the details, country, state, language, time zone, prompt, clicking next, and that's it. It's going to start creating our instance. It will take less than 10 minutes. So the free version is less than 2 minutes. You can spin off an instance. But with the 3.6 hosted with 3.6, it's less than 10 minutes for you to create your own instance directly. So the customer will have a functioning phone system in less than 10 minutes. And the things is you need to add users and call flows and things like that later. And while it's installing, so if you have any questions, feel free to post it on the chat. Anything related to this module or anything related to 3.6, feel free to post it and I'll try to answer it through. To confirm with the extension, this cannot be undone once set up. You need to create a new customer to set it up. Yes, so the selecting the length of the extension, that's basically you can select only during the installation. So after install, you cannot, let's say you have 90, you select 99 and you install it, and after a year you decide it needs to be it's the users are exceeding the 99 users, so it needs to be more. At that time you cannot just simply go and re-edit it, so you need to reinstall with a backup and then pick 3 digits. Does that mean if I change my mind, I need to delete the customer and recreate? Yes, exactly. You need to reinstall on the same license to update the length of the extension. So that's why it's always best practice to choose 3 digits or 4 digits, because 3 digits, even selecting 3 digits will give you, you can add users up to 999. So 1,000 users. Perfect. The installation is complete. As you can see, a live install takes less than 10 minutes. So similar to the way, so I'm just going to log in, and the username is that, and the credentials will also be sent to the email that you're trying to register with. And I'm using the username and password. And you can see with this one, the URL is like prefixed. You cannot do much. But with this one, so it's the one that I gave, or the one that we gave during the installation. So I gave basic training set.36.com.au, and that's it. For example, if you have a client, let's say leaders, if leader computers has its own 36, it would be something like leadercomputers.36.com.au. So that's basically how you can set up your customer. So you can the URL can be your customer's name. Even if you don't want to use 36.com.au, you can set your own custom domain. I'm logging in and saving this for now. That, and I'm closing this. You can see I'm logged in as the first user that's created. That's basically the system owner. And basically that's the user that I could create it. You can see all the options available is similar to the basic one. So the Teams, chat, meet, calls, panel, contact, voicemail, settings, which is basically the same in here. But if you click on the admin, you can see a whole lot of feature, because the free version is pretty limited and there are lots of limitations on the free, but the dedicated instance, that's basically a dedicated complete phone system which you have full access. It's hosted with 3.6. That's the only difference. You can see the trial licenses, 8 simultaneous calls. Partner is Breeze Connect, and this is the version it's currently on. FQDN, install type hosted by 3CX, network ports, active connections, active call, system extension, audit logs, trunks, and any updates of system maintenance. Gives you the storage information, call logs, backups, updates, and storage if there are any third party, sorry, Google Bucket or any third party storage is configured to it, maintenance, voicemail, chat logs, troubleshooting, so services, activity logs. You can restart the OS directly from here, firewall settings, packet capture, system health information that will help you during the troubleshooting. We'll be looking into this troubleshooting and system maintenance a lot in depth during our advanced module. But yeah, so this for this module, so this is how you install a 3.6 certified, sorry, 3.6 instance hosted with 3.6. Users, you can create the user directly, and since it's a full complete system, you can see lots of other options available. User, receptionist, department administrator, manager, owner, system administrator, system owner. So basically the user that the system created, that system owner that has complete access over all the or the overall system. So you can add a trunk, gateway, add a bridge. You can bridge to 3CXs, add messaging, SBC, tech. You can provision phones. You can create your outbound rules. You can have multiple departments. So you cannot have departments on the free version. But let's say you have a sales department, support department, accounts department. You can have them created as separate departments and have separate office time, separate call flow, and things like that. Office hours, call handling, basically adding ring group, call queues, digital receptionist. Reports, so similar to the free version, you have all the reporting available. Event logs, you can do call recordings with the dedicated instance. You can have a backup or restore backup, or you can take a backup. You can do integrations like CRM, call script, Google integration, Microsoft 365, Teams integration, portal services like any PMS integrations, transcriptions, API access. You can have all those on the dedicated instance. And you have the advanced options like IP blacklist, anti-hacking, control restrictions to make sure this console is accessed only from specific IPs, network restrictions, allowed country codes, caller ID. So we'll be looking at everything in detail during the in the upcoming modules. And system maintenance, voicemail, prompts, email, conferencing, phone book, emergency contact, call parking, dial codes, which you can set manually, options for custom statuses and stuff, maintenance, you can purge or add more data or storage, and third-party storages and update system directly from here. And yep, so that is pretty much how you install a hosted instance. And so those are all the options available on the 3.6 hosted instance. Basically, this is a dedicated instance. These are all the options that you will be seeing or using, even if it is hosted with 3.6 or hosted with or you're self-hosting it. But that's pretty much how you install if you want to go with the 3.6 hosted install. And 3.6 SMB free or hosted. So if you're hosting it with 3.6 directly, there are a certain support that's available from 3.6. So basically, it's always um, or the best practice to use 3.6 preferred or supported SIP trunk providers because of the quality of service and excellent support, and also for better communication. And also these preferred or supported SIP trunks, they have been through all the interop testing between the provider and the 3.6 to make sure everything is functioning as it is. And that cannot be achieved with all voice providers. And for version 20, so with if you're hosting it 3.6, 3.6 offers 24/7 monitoring, which it's included, and some monitoring of the data center and usage of the system resources. If the system resources, for example, you have 10 gig storage for recordings, and if it's reaching the limit, they will increase it a bit more depending on the size. And also, this other supports available is deployment via the 3.6 portal. And if there are any connectivity issues or DNS resolving issues, 3.6 FQDN or 3.6 SMTP service, 3.6 video conferencing, and system crashes, all these are covered with your 3.6 hosting subscription. And also they provide support to a previous restoration point. This is what I previously mentioned. For example, if you accidentally deleted the instance or you forgot to renew the license and it went off, so within 7 days, if you go to them, they can restore the 3.6 directly to the previous restoration point rather than you need to install a new instance and create everything from the scratch. And they also do patch management and OS management, and they help you keep the system up to date to the latest non-beta version available. And why choose 3.6 hosted solution? Because self-hosting is pricier. This is what I previously mentioned. If you do the math, the 3.6 hosting solution is less than $50 a month. That's far more, I would say that's more cheaper than any other hosting platforms that's provided. and many resources are needed to maintain and support. Together, we can beat the competition. And as a 3.6 partner, so choosing 3.6 or hosting have its own advantage. So, and also you can deploy 3.6 hosted and SMB free and grow and win with us. So, uh, so I think I've covered most of the 3.6 hosting stuff during the demo previously. Do you have any questions? Feel free to post it on the chat if you do not have any questions. Let's take a 5 minute break, but feel free to post the questions on the chat because I'll be available through the 5 minute break. You're all good, guys. Let's continue through the session. So the next module that we are going to see is the 3CX apps. This is one of the key feature of 3CX because not many PBXs comes with their own apps and also not many options available within the apps. And yeah, so 3.6 has four different applications that you can use through. So one is the web client, and the other one is the PWA client, which is the progressive web app. And they offer mobile apps and also Windows soft phones. So all these apps, so the 3.6 apps, so they have the features that includes presence, which you can see the availability or the presence of other extension within the 3CX. You can do call forwarding. You can listen to or configure your voicemails and greeting. You have the talk and meet URLs. You can control the IP phones for IP phones. You can do video calls through the 3.6 apps, and also you can do messaging. You can, for example, if you have a 3.6 app on your mobile, and you have a SMS integration with the 3CX, you can just have send and receive SMSs through PST and directly from your 3CX app. You don't need to add a secondary SIM card to your phone to do that. So you can have by a virtual number, have a 3.6 integration on your 3.6, and you can just SMS directly from the 3.6 app or from your mobile. And the other 3.6 app feature, so it gives you the complete telephony functionality. You can make calls, receive calls, transfer calls, divert calls, and do all those stuff. And also you can do conference scheduling and also notifications. So you, for the web client and PW, you can set the desktop notification, and mobile, you can enable the push notification for Android push and iOS push. That's basically even if you the app is offline or running in the background, or you're on a different app like LinkedIn or any browser. So if you enable push notification, the call just pops up. In soft phone, and for the Windows soft phone, you have the native answer dialog box, which just pops up and you can just answer the call or decline the call directly. So yeah, I will also show you the welcome email and how it looks like. Basically, as soon as the system is created, or every user that's created, the user will receive a welcome email with details like to set up the password and links to download the 3.6 app and links to provision the 3.6 app and things like that. So this is sent automatically upon creation of a user or an extension, and it's triggered by the admin or the user. This includes the web client URL and link to reset the password. I'll show you how a 3.6 welcome email looks like later during the demo. And let me open the other screen, just a second. Just 1 second. Yeah, I don't have an existing one, but I'll show you like how a welcome email looks like. So this is for a test account. You can see it has the link to set up the password. So all I need to do is click on it, set up the password. It has the extension number, URL, voicemail pin, share URL, and things like that. And so it also has the link to download the apps directly and the QR code to scan. And I can just provision my mobile app directly from here, and also to send new voicemail. So sorry, send new welcome email. So if you create a user, so let's create a user. I'll put as knowledge basic test, and I'm putting myself as a manager or system owner, depending on what you want to set. And done. If you want to enable 2FA, you can, or disable 2FA, you can, and save. This will automatically send a welcome email to my inbox where it has the same information which I showed you earlier. And just in case if you enter the email ID wrong, or you want to resend the invitation email, or the customer or the user accidentally deleted the email, you can just update the email also, and you can just click on reset password. That's going to trigger the password reset or the welcome email again. And if they want, if you want the QR code for their mobile app, so you click on QR code, and that will give you the QR code for them to scan from their mobile app. And you can also enable or disable 2FA directly from here. And if you have a list of users that you want to trigger the welcome email, so you can just select the user, or you can click on here to select all the users, and you can just do a reset, and that's going to send the welcome email to the users directly from here. Any questions so far? To confirm, in order to resend welcome email, it needs to be done in reset password. Exactly, that's right. Because reset password and send the welcome email are pretty much the same. And but they have the option as reset, which will send another welcome email with the same stuff that I showed you earlier. And it has the link to set up the own password. Good, Mark. Cool. Let's continue through the module. So 3.6 mobile apps. I would not be able to demonstrate the mobile app directly, but I'll give you the basic idea how it looks like. So basically, QR code provisioning and used to basically you can so from the welcome email, as soon as the users logged in, they can just scan the QR code from the console or the web client, which can be found in the web client or the PWA or the admin console. And I'll show you during the demo, like from where you can get the QR codes. And the 3.6 mobile app push notification uses native mobile operating system abilities. No manual configuration required. All you need to do is scan, and then it automatically goes into it. And allows app to hibernate as well. So you have an option for the app to hibernate. So it just no battery, doesn't consume much battery from the mobile phones. And also it can directly during the hibernate, it will automatically wake up on an incoming call or chat, which can also be disabled if you want. And the flow is if a call coming in, so incoming call comes in, it comes to the 3CX, and 3CX send push notification to the mobile phone, and the mobile device receives it, and the mobile device will send it to the app, and then you can answer it through the app. That's how the flow looks like, the overview of the flow looks like. And 3.6 apps for external connections. 3.6 app always have dual location provision. For external use, that's basically an on-premise only for on-premise 3.6. Because if you're hosting with 3.6, all the ports that's required on the 3.6 side will already be open. But if you're hosting your 3.6 on-premise, there are certain ports that you need to allow or open access to the outside world so that it can function through normally. So the 3.6 app uses 1590, which is called the tunnel port. So basically the open NAT ports WAN to the 3CX tunnel port 5090. So all the 3CX app uses the 5090 as the tunnel port. It needs to be open for both UDP and TCP. And also you need to open the default HTTPS port for TCP, which can be 5001 and 443 depending on your network. So on 3.6 free or the SMB version and the 3.6 hosted, it's already taken care of, as I previously mentioned. 3.6 manages that for you and it will automatically open all the ports that's required for the 3.6 to function effectively. And the 3.6 app can work on 4G, 5G, and on Wi-Fi. Let's look through a short demo before jumping into the cool. So the four apps that are mentioned are the web client, which is basically this. For example, if you're logging in as a user, so let's say this 101 is a user, and if I'm logging in that, everything from here looks going to be all these options. It's going to be the same availability, but they just don't have the admin button. Only the system owner or the owners will have the admin button. So the web client basically looks like this. You have the users, you can see the presence, you can use chat, meet, you can have the call logs, you have the panel, for example, if you want to see the queue calls or the wall board, so which is basically something you can have like a shared screen that if you have a call center kind of setup, so you can have this on the wall like connected to a TV and to have a test extension logged into it to show the wall board and any reminders that you want to show and things like that. And settings is basically the basic setting, general call forwarding setting for that particular user, not the system wide. For example, if it is available, what needs to do away, what it needs to do, 3.6 talk, chat, audio, video is basically to connect the extensions and view any to show its presence and things like that. Greetings if you want to upload it manually, integrations and BLF. So these are all the stuff that's available through the web client. And PWA client is basically similar, and it's just a progressive web client, so which is basically something like this on a separate browser or a client. And when you want to provision a mobile app, so if you're in the admin console, which is this, you go to the user and you have the QR code there. But if you are a user, you can just find the QR code at the top right corner. Or if you go to settings and QR code in here, so you can see the QR code for basic set extension 100 is this. So they just need to scan this directly and they can provision the mobile app. And the 3CX desktop app is basically this one. It's not provisioned, but this is how it looks like. You can see the provisioning details. I can see, so it's extension 001. This is the user and the status is if you want to set it to available and da da da. So team, similar to the web client, contact list, dial pad, call logs, voicemails if there are any, and about will give you the version of the 3.6 app that you're using. Settings, that basically gives you the theme, so you can have a light theme and also a dark theme. And if you want to show unregistered extensions as well, or you don't want to, so there are a list of options like audio options and all those stuff and other options available. So for whole resume and all these stuffs are available on the 3.6 desktop app. This is basically the desktop app and how it looks like. And I'll also say a basic and most repetitive issue that the clients give us a call saying we've installed a new 3CX. They are using the web client, and outbound call seems to be working. Inbound calls are not seem to be working. We will be looking into a bit more detail during the troubleshooting methods, but I'll show you what it is basically. So this bell icon or the notification icon that you can see on the top left corner, that is saying that the notifications are not allowed on this client that you're logged in. So this will cause, so for example, this I'm logged into the 3.6 web client, but if the notifications are blocked or doesn't have speaker or microphone access, it doesn't send enough information to the 3.6 console. So when I make an outbound call, it will go through, but when there is an inbound call, it comes to the 3.6 and 3.6 sees, there is no registration details and it will not send the call through and it directly goes to the destination of no answer or to voicemail. So basically, if the customer complains, I cannot see the presence of the user or I cannot receive any inbound calls, the first thing I would ask them to check is if there is a bell on the left top corner. If there is, all they need to do is just click on it, click OK, click allow, and that's it. The bell disappears, and from then you can see the availability. It shows the presence details. Even if I go to admin, it should show the presence details. And for example, if it is not done, so I'll go to the free version, you can see both of them are not available. So a call comes in, it sees they're not registered, and then it doesn't send enough information. It just sends it to voicemail. If I click on this, allow the microphone and all the settings, and if I go to refresh, sorry, if I go back to the admin now and users, you can see it's available now. It can send the call. So this is one of the most common issue that occurs for new partners or new installations. The partner is not aware. They need to also enable notification settings and allow microphone and speaker access to it. But yeah, so if you are doing a new install and a customer compliance, and you know where to check. Let's continue through. So IP phones, there are lots of 3.6 supported IP phones available, and the it's always recommended to use the supported IP phones because they are fully tested, fully supported, and the templates are already available in the 3.6. You don't have to do manual configuration, and you can find the current firmwares, and that's available directly through the 3.6. You can also do zero touch provisioning, and you also do point-to-point provisioning. So provisioning of an IP phone, so phones can be on the same network as 3CX, or phones can be on the remote network. So when you have a 3.6 that's hosted on premise, you can do two types of provisioning. Either you can provision it as a router phone or a normal provisioning, or you can provision it as a LAN connection directly. But if you're having a 3.6 hosted with 3.6 directly or on cloud, there must be at least one router phone or a SBC provision through the 3CX. And you can, and basically a router phone is basically something that 3.6 offers because you cannot have a SBC, sorry, you cannot have a stun connection with the 3CX. So it needs to either have a SBC or you can have one of the router phones. Router phone act as an SBC as well as you can use it as a phone. You can connect up to 10 handsets that can proxy or sit behind the router phone. However, due to the IP phone hardware limitations, if more than 10 handsets are required, we recommend you to deploy a standalone SBC machine. We'll look through it while we go through the module. And yes, if you have any questions like if I'm putting a handset as a router phone, the handset is going to be waste if it is can be as a if it is just functioning as an SPC. No, because the router phone can also be used as a user's handset. For example, you have 10 users and reception is having a handset. So you put the reception handset as a SBC or a router phone, and you connect the other handsets through the SBC or the router phone. And that basically you can also save time and cut hardware cost in deploying a dedicated SBC. And if you want to have all 10 handsets or all the handsets provisioned as a SBC, you can still do it. And it also makes the system have multiple failovers rather than one failover point. So 3.6 SBC, what is an SBC? So it establishes a secure connection between a network and the 3.6 server in the cloud. So the user used to connect the 3.6 supported IP phones. So the audio RTP are kept within the remote network. So any RTPs or any communication that goes through, it goes through the proxy. So it uh, helps in reducing lots of call quality issues. And when you do that, the phones are connected to the same SPC, no firewall configuration required at the remote network. And multiple SPCs on one side for more phones is recommended, and the SBC feature is completely free. So the 3.6 SBC router phone, so this is the router phone that I was talking earlier. So there are specific models in Snom, Yealink, and Fanvil, which you can use as a SBC as well as a handset at the same time. So these specific handsets have inbuilt SBC, so they are dual functionality, and you can connect up to 10 phones to that handset and no additional hardware needed. And since no additional hardware needed, it also reduced cost. Let's say you want to have a 3.6 SBC, but a dedicated one rather than a router phone. So there are a specific hardware limitation that you need to meet before installing it. And it can be configured on a Linux virtual machine or a Linux system or a basic NUC you can take it, or a Raspberry Pi. And the other requirements that you need to use a network interface card, and it needs to be wired and not Wi-Fi. And you need to disable all the unused adapters. So let's take a scenario. So we recently deployed a phone system or a 3.6 phone system for a school where there are more than 100 handsets. So what we did is, rather than having router phones and deploying it through the router phones, we had a dedicated SBC, a bigger one with higher specs, and we just connected all through the SBCs. That's when we have a basic NUC. We installed it with an SBC, a Linux-based SBC, and then we deployed it. So I previously mentioned RPS. So basically, what is an RPS? So that's basically remote provisioning server. It automatically triggered when provisioning phones. It binds the MAC address to the provisioning URL. So this will help you in zero touch provisioning. So for example, if you look at the image, you can see the 3CX. So when you're adding a handset to the 3.6, you put in the MAC address. So it just sends a request to the, let's say you're adding a Yearling T54W. So you're putting the MAC address. So the 3.6 talks to the Yearling T50, the Yearling RPS and say, hey, I'm this 3.6 and I've received this MAC. Do you know where this handset is? So as soon as the phone is powered on, it just checks the A-Link RPS if there are some information available to pick it from. So when the handset is checking the RPS says, yes, I got a request from this 3.6, and this is the URL that I got the request from. So then the handset talks to the URL to request the provisioning. So basically, you enter the MAC address on the 3.6 and you power on the handset. The handset will check the Yearlink RPS to see if that's got any information. If it's got any information, it gets back that information, and the handset will try to contact the host provider, which is the 3.6, using the information, and it gets the provisioning details, and then it gets provisioning automatically. And this can be also disabled if you want on the 3.6, but yeah, so this makes things easier. If the SBZ fails, do all phones lose connection? Can we offset this risk by having a SBC plus a router phone? Yes. So if you're connecting all the handsets through one SBC. And so let's take an example. So let's say there are 10 handsets, one router phone, all the handsets are connected through the router phone. And if that router phone is off or unavailable, all the handsets connected under will lose connection or will drop. So in that scenario, what you can do is you can have multiple failover points. For example, you can have like four router phones, handsets provisioned as router phones, and you connect two or three handsets under them. And just in case if one of the router phone fails, you can simply switch over the handsets under that failed router phone to the other handsets. It's just a drop-down box. You select the other one and click save, and it's going to automatically be done. I'll show you how to do that during the demo. Cool. Let's demo now. Before jumping into the demo, I'll just show you the 3.6 specification. So we'll be going through all these stuff in more detail when we are doing the advanced, but I just wanted to show the SPC um, specifications required. For example, if you have a handset up to 50 users or up to 100 users, if you're picking the Linux base, what should be the specs? If it is a Windows base, what should be the specs? And for 100 users, what should be the specs? And what's the storage that needs to be? This is the basic SBC hardware requirement if you're doing a dedicated hardware. So you can get a basic NUC. You can buy it directly from Leader with that spec, and then you can install with a Linux-based or Windows-based SPC, and you can function it directly from there. And to add a handset, so you just directly go to the user and you pick on IP phone and you do configure a phone and you just select a model. For example, let me pick Yearling T54W. Let me get a MAC address, just 1 second. Yep, done. So you will be given with three options. So connect via SBC or router phone. Since there are no router phones available or no SBC available, the only option I'm getting is connect directly. And local LAN is basically only if your 3.6 is provisioned on premise. Since this is a 3.6 hosted test instance that we install, I'm clicking connect directly, add phone, and close. And I'm clicking save. So if you go to voice and chat, you can see the handset is also added as a SBC. And if you go to the user IP phone, you can see the authentication details, extension details. The local IP will be there once it's provisioned, and you can see the provisioning link and stuff. And web console password, so the default password would be admin, and once it's provisioned, you need to use this password to log into the handset, and you have all the basic features and things like that. And let's say we are adding a second phone. Let me go to the 101 user configure, and I'm picking the same model. Healing T54W. I'm pasting it. Let's just change it so it doesn't. So next, now you can see there are three options are available. So connect directly is even if I want this handset to be provisioned as a router phone. If you want multiple failovers, you can have multiple router phones and connect the handset through it. And if I want to connect through the SPC, it gives me the list of SPCs available. And I'm picking this, add phone, and close and save. So you can see the first phone is a router phone, and the second phone is a normal phone. And if you go to the phone, you can see the provisioning routing device is through extension 100. So with your question, Steve, so just in case if you have multiple SBCs, and let's say the extension 100 SBC is down, you can just simply go to here and select the second one or the third one or the SBC that's active and click save. That's going to automatically send that information, and the handsets connected under will be coming up and route through the secondary SBC or the third SBC or fourth SBC. So this is how you do it. So even if there are, so these are all the available handsets that are supported. And if you want to know a bit more detail about 3.6 handset that are supported, if I do that in supported IP phones, so these are all the supported IP phones, and you can see the Fanvil models, Snom models, Yealink models, and these are handsets supported with limitations, door phone systems, gateways, legacy phones. And you can see from here, so Fanvil D series are portable Wi-Fi phones, and so you can see the Snom D8 series can be used as router phones. So, but not the other series. So from here, you can get an idea like what are all the handsets that can be used as a router phone, and you can purchase it directly from Leader. So Yealink T5 series, some phones can be used as router phones. T4 series, some can be used as router phones. If you want to see what phones can be used as router phones, you can just click on it, and it just shows router phones are T53, 53C, 53W, 54W, 575. So all these phones, if you have one of those handsets, you can use it as a router phone and provision the handsets under them. So that is pretty much it. And yeah, do you have any questions, guys? Cool. That's basically we conclude with today's module. So today's module we saw what's the 3.6 free version and what's the 3.6 hosted with 3.6 version. And the main advantages of these are, let's say you have a customer and you want to demo it or create a proof of concept, you don't have to purchase a new license, you can just spin off a 3.6 hosted. Or also, if you're not aware of 3.6 and you want to get familiar with 3.6, you can spin off the trial version and play around with it and get familiar with yourself. And those, and also the 3.6 apps that we different 3.6 app and the handsets and router phones and that you can provision through. So that's basically everything for today's modules. Yeah, feel free to post any questions on the chat and I'll answer them through. Can you explain again the provisioning process and how does the phone connect to 3CX to collect the provisioning data? How does it know the URL? Let me go a few slides back. Yeah, just one second. Yeah. So for example, let's pick Yealink as an example. So Yealink has its own RPS called the Yealink RPS. So with the 3CX, so what you need to do is basically you need to go to the IP phone provisioning and then you just enter the MAC address, which I will also show again. So basically the first step is you go to the user IP phone. You add the phone, you click on add, you put the handset model. So let's pick a Yearlink model. You put the MAC address, click next, and you add the handset. And what it does is, as soon as you add the MAC address, since you picked Yearlink, you can see step one is basically 36 will push that information to the Yearlink RPS. And the Yearlink RPS will hold that information. Just one second. Yeah. So in here, so you will be putting the MAC address, and step one will be it just sends that information to the Yearlink RPS where it holds all the MAC address and details. And with that MAC address registration, the 36 will say this is the MAC address that got updated in my 36, and my 36 is breeze training36.com.au, and Yearlink will have that information stored. And as soon as you plug in the handset will first thing it will do is it will go to the Yearlink RPS and see if there are any information available. If there are no information available, it just stays as it is. But if there are information available, it just goes there and see, this is my MAC address, and there is some the provisioning URL available. So provisioning URL basically contains the provisioning details, and it just what it does is the Yearlink will send back the provisioning details through the to the IP phone again. And IP phone, what it does is with the provisioning details, it know where it needs to contact to. It contacts the 36 directly. So it contacts the 36, hey, I'd received this information from the Yearlink RPS, and these are the details. This is my MAC address, and do you have any details for me? And Yearlink says, yes, I do have the details for you, and it sends all the details for the IP phone to get it provisioned. And I'll also show you what details it just gets. And as soon as you add the handset, if you go to the URL, you can see RPS request for Yearlink for IP phone Manoj basic test delivered successfully. Basically, as soon as I add the handset, the 36 sends the RPS details to the Yearlink RPS. And the handset, as soon as it's powered on, it goes to the Yearlink RPS and checks if there are any details. If there are any details, what it does is the detail is basically this, the provisioning link. So for this MAC address, this is the provisioning link, and that's what the 36 will be sending it to the Yearlink RPS. And the Yearlink handset, as soon as it gets the provisioning link, it comes back and contacts the 3CX directly because it has the provisioning URL. It contacts the basic training cert36.com.au, and it gets all the configuration information, and it will automatically apply to the handset, and it just pulls these information to the handset and provisioning automatically. This is what I'm when I say zero touch provisioning. You plug in the handset will go to the Yearlink RPS, see if there is any information. If it is, it gets the information, which is basically this information, and it goes to this information, which is basically the 3CX. And 3CX says, this is, yes, we got a match, and this is the configuration details. And it pushes this information to the handset, and it will be provisioned automatically. Um, was I clear, or do you need a bit more explanation? Cool. If a phone is removed from the 3CX, how soon before the IP phone gets deregistered? It will be immediate. So if you remove the handset directly from the 3CX, it's going to be deregistered immediately. And how often does the IP phone poll 3CX? Every time it reboots, it's going to poll the oh sorry, how often the IP phone poll 3.6? It's pretty much all the time. So any changes that you do on the 3CX on the handset, it just pushes the settings to the 3CX, sorry, the handset, and any changes that you do on the handset, it pushes back to the 3.6. But when you ask the question, reframe the question something like how often the IP phone polls the Yearlink RPS, then it's every time that it reboots. Cool. Do you have any other questions? Thank you so much, Shin. And any others have any questions? Feel free to ask any questions related to today's topic or anything that you think that basic or that you need to be answered. I can answer that today. Thank you so much, Mark. And if there are no further questions, we can wind up our today's session, and we'll see you all tomorrow, guys. Same time. And I'll stay for another 5-10 minutes if you have any further questions that you need to post or ask to me. Thanks everyone for attending. Just recapping what you said about issues with the SPC. In the event of failure or issue, you can reassign users individually, but can you also reassign users in bulk? Unfortunately, that's not possible. It needs to be every user that you need to go in and change the routing device. There are bulk update options available, but that's basically for the extension details and stuff, but not for the IP phone configuration. If someone outside your organization get your phone MAC address and add to your 3.6 dashboard for provisioning, so when you turn on the phone, you cannot use it because it's controlling by their 3.6 user. Yes and no. Because the first time that you're provisioning, you will have you will be the one who have access to the phone's MAC address. And as soon as it's provisioned, so the 3.6 will update even the login password, the authentication details, and everything. Once it's provisioned to your 3.6, even if they try with the MAC address, they can't access the handset or provision it to a different 3.6. So yeah, so basically, that can only be accessed by a different user only if they have access to the 3.6 management console directly. Can we get a copy of the recording to review the lesson? Yes, you can. So after the 3-day basic trainings completed, so you will receive an automated response with all the link for all the recordings and the materials and stuff. If there are no further questions, we can wind up the session for today. Thanks everyone for attending, and we'll see you tomorrow at the same time. Thanks everyone.